Hey everyone, Rob Ryder. It's October 23rd, 2012. And this is apparently the oath of office of an associate judge of the Circuit Court, State of Illinois. In which it says that I, David P. Clement, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of associate judge of the Circuit Court of the 16th Judicial Circuit of Illinois according to the best of my ability. Okay, so this is looks rather lawful as far as the way it's written. It's all upper lower case. The 16th is written out as a word. I'm sure when you walk into that court it has 16th, 16th, the number. But this is what he took for to be an associate judge of the Circuit Court, State of Illinois. And associate judges are appointed by the chief judge. So that's what that part looks like. And he's the declarant, and he's apparently signed it. And we get to the good part. So this is what this says. Go to this side first. The undersigned, being duly authorized to administer oaths, certifies that the foregoing oath of office was administered to the declarant on the 23rd day, December 2012. So he's saying that it has been done. And it has his name. And then it says Chief Judge. And I don't see any seal on it. So he's the Chief Judge of what? Is he a Chief Judge at the 4-H auction? Choosing the best cow? I don't know. Now, a notary is also authorized to administer oaths, right? But if a notary did this, it would have their name, and then below it, number one, it'd have a seal of some kind, or it would say they were a notary of where their authorization came from. So the word chief judge isn't enough. If they're just going to use their name, they need to do what this lady did here. You need to have the name written out below it, and then the office that you're holding. Because it's the office that has the power, not the person. And so that's unlawful. That doesn't mean nothing. As far as being duly authorized. And then as you can see here, it says, upon receipt of executed oath of office, the declarant to be placed on the payroll of the Judicial Branch of Illinois, well, it doesn't have a date. And it hasn't been signed. So apparently they haven't received an executed oath of office yet at the director of the administrator office of the Illinois courts. So this associate judge, Circuit Court, State of Illinois, David P. Clement, isn't on the state payroll. Therefore, he's not holding a public office. Therefore, he's not a judge. And I would think you'd want to bring this kind of stuff up to people. And so I had come up with an idea, something like this. So I would say, because I'd be writing to the director of the office, right, because she's the one who hasn't signed it yet. All right, so I'm going to send it to this office here. Apparently they're the ones who collect the executed oaths and put people on the payroll. So she would have everybody's oath. She should know the status of all the judges. So on this, whatever the day of October in the year of our Lord 2012, it is made known to your office of a mistake that, if not corrected immediately, shall be considered a breach of faith. The enclosed oath of office of David P. Clement for the office of Associate Judge of the Circuit Court, State of Illinois, is deficient, as it does not have your acknowledgement of its execution and his being placed on the payroll of the Judicial Branch of Illinois. Without your acknowledgement of his executed oath, he cannot sit on the bench, and any proceeding he may have been party to is void, his decisions having no lawful standing. Again, this is because they're not showing he has an executed oath and he's not on the payroll. So he's not a frickin' state judge. This disturbing circumstance may not be an isolated matter, and you are directed to investigate all other oaths of State of Illinois judges to ensure they have been properly executed and acknowledged by your office as being on the payroll of the Judicial Branch of Illinois. Until you have acknowledged the executed oath and placed the judge on the payroll of the Judicial Branch of Illinois, no further proceeding may be heard by the declarant of any judicial oath of office in your jurisdiction. These offices are vacant, and the declarants are color law actors usurping a public office, conspiring with others to steal the property of people of Illinois, and unless you correct the record, you are aiding in the felony. Due to the gravity of this matter, I will be informing the bishop of my diocese, asking him to inquire of your office the findings of your investigation into these deficient oaths, their correction, and the validity of any prior decision of these actors, as ecclesiastic courts have exclusive jurisdiction over matter of faith, including oaths, specifically under Canons 1199 to 1204 of the Code of Canon Law. 1983. Robert Allen, one of the faithful, and I'd sign my name above it. So, this is what you guys are facing if you want to keep walking into their courts. This is why I don't want to walk into them. Here's a perfect example. Right? Why they have no authority, and what the hell are you going into their court for? Yeah, the dude took an oath, says he's going to take it to this office. It's not been acknowledged properly by the duly authorized officer because it doesn't have his office down here. And the executed oath hasn't been received by the administrator's office. And therefore they're not on the payroll. Well, if they're not on the payroll, they can't be a state judge. That seems pretty self-explanatory. And here's what it says in the Code of Canon Law 1983 for oaths. An oath is an invocation of the divine name as witness to the truth that cannot be taken except in truth, judgment, and justice. An oath is an invocation of the divine name, and there's an interesting thing. Now, he didn't put the divine name in here. It doesn't say, so help me God. However, the word swear may cover that. The word swear means because you're solemnly swearing, and I believe that would mean you're taking this to the divine. You are calling him in as part of the contract. An oath which is required or accepted by the canons cannot validly be taken by proxy. Okay, so an oath which is required or accepted by the canons cannot be validly taken by proxy. A person who freely swears an oath to do something is specially obliged by the virtue of religion to fulfill that which he or she asserted by oath. Well, what did he assert by oath? Going to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois. Didn't say anything about the statutes, codes, regulations. Those things right there is what he's going to support. An oath extorted by deceit, force, or grave fear by virtue of the law is itself invalid. In the law of the law itself invalid. Okay. So deceit, force, grave fear. Right? You go into court, they make you take an oath. Right? Well, I'd say you can argue all those things. A promissory oath is determined by the nature and condition of the act in which it is attached. An act which directly threatens to harm others, or is prejudicial to the public good or to the eternal salvation, is in no way reinforced by an oath sworn to do the act. The obligation of a promissory oath ceases if it is remitted by the person in whose favor the oath was sworn. Well, the people they took this to is the public. If what was sworn is substantially changed or because of altered circumstances becomes evil or completely irrelevant and hinders great good. So that'll invalidate an oath. If the purpose or condition ceases under which the oath may have been made by dispensation or commutation in accordance with Canon 1203, those who can spend, dispense, or commute a vow have in the same measure the same power over a promissory oath. But if dispensation from oath would tend to harm others, and they refuse to remit the obligation, only the apostolic see can dispense the oath. But if the dispensation of an oath would tend to harm others, okay, so I think this is what's happening. There's somebody at the courthouse who is the registrar of chancery. In Michigan, it's the lowercase circuit court clerk, who's also the county clerk, who's also the clerk of the county. Wears 3 different hats. And I think that their oath is directly to the bishop. Now, this was told us by a guy maybe a year ago, who stopped into Santa Fe, New Mexico, and talked to the clerk, and just said to the clerk, "I believe that your oath is held by the bishop." And she said, "Yes, it was." Okay. Well, so she's very cognizant of the crimes that are happening at the court, but she's the one that puts a seal on the paperwork to give the church jurisdiction. So she has a dispensation from her oath. However, if you refuse to remit the obligation, then only the Apostolic See can dispense the oath, which would be the Pope. An oath is subject to strict interpretation in accordance with the law and with the intention of the person taking the oath, or if that person acts deceitfully, in accordance with the intention of the person whose presence the oath is taken. So again, that's what it says about oaths. The important thing is, right, as far as the chief judge, if it was a notary and they were administering an oath, they would have their name and their title, and there would be a seal and everything else, and all he has is chief judge. And if a public officer is going to sign something from his office and not use the seal, he needs to do it like this lady did. You got to put your name. This guy's name would have to be here. Chief judge. What is he the chief judge of? Well, I guess he's the chief judge of the circuit court for the 16th Judicial Circuit of Illinois. But it doesn't say that. It just says chief judge. And this lady's never received an executed oath of office. If she had, she would have put him on the payroll. Therefore, the oath hasn't been executed. The guy isn't holding office. He's not a state judge. Whatever else you're bringing into your court case, I would be making this point loud and clear, and I'd be writing this lady here. I want somebody to tell me why this guy isn't on the payroll. And I'm going to make the bishop aware of it and see if that clears up the matter. Anyways, just a short little video on what an oath looks like and what you might do with one that appears to be deficient. Y'all have a great day. See you.